very good morning, and indeed welcome to the only way to start your day. This is Good Morning Kenya. My name is Samuel Njoroge. We do hope that your Wednesday is coming along just fine. So far, so good for us. We do hope the same energy and momentum is right in your houses. Welcome to the program, and this morning we would like to tackle a topic that is in the hearts of everyone, and if it isn't, we hope that by the end of this discussion it will be in your heart, okay? We're looking at child protection, and most importantly, we're looking at the girl child this morning. And I've got a panel of three, two ladies and a gentleman, and together we shall understand some of the initiatives they've undertaken to make sure that child protection, youth involvement, the girl child, that message is well passed across the nation and beyond. With pleasure, I will introduce my panel this morning. Straight across, I've got Mercy Shege, who is the Child Protection Manager at Plan International. Welcome to the program. Right in the middle, we've got Bruno Pozzi. He is the Acting EU Head of Delegation right here in Kenya. Welcome to the program, sir. Good morning to you too. And right here to my immediate right, I've got Rehema Hamisi. How are you, Rehema?
I'm fine.
How are you doing?
Fine.
Kindly tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I'm coming from Kwale County. I'm a Form 1 student at Bahari Girls Secondary School in Kilifi. I joined Girl Advocacy last year. I'm working with Plan International in the county level. And I, as a girl advocate, I'm fighting for the girls' rights. I'm educating the other girls in my community and also in my school about their rights.
Great. Great, and congratulations for the milestone that you've been able to achieve this far.
Thank you.
I'd like to start with you, Mercy. Why child protection?
Child protection because I think our nation is as strong as our weakest point, the most vulnerable, and that is our children. So how we treat our children determines a lot on what happens to us in future, and how as a nation we are going to progress. So as Plan International, we are very focused on child protection because we want to make sure that children get the opportunity to grow and to learn and to decide and to be able to thrive and excel in everything that they are doing. So that's why we are focusing on children, and especially the girl child, who in most cases is marginalized. Most of our communities, there is this and that is really not for the girl child. FGM, child marriage, teenage pregnancies. So we have a focus on the girl child, but we take care of all the children. Our programming takes care of all the children, yes. But we have a weak point for our girl child. Yes.
You've got a weak point for the girl child?
Yes.
I'm a boy child advocate, so probably I'll see you later.
All right.
Probably I'll see you later. Bruno, I'd like to come to you in terms of what is the involvement of the EU in this particular project?
Well, the European Union has adopted guidelines for the protection of children, and that's guidelines that we use inside the EU, but also in all our external policies, and we mainstream those guidelines. So that means that in all the programs that we have around the world, and in Kenya, which is one of our best partners in Africa, we implement, we take the dimension of children's rights very seriously, and we implement that in all our programs. So that's really why we wanted to celebrate that. We've got these guidelines that were revised and strengthened and adopted by the European Union a few months ago. And on this occasion, we wanted to, with a number of partner countries, demonstrate that we take it extremely seriously and they are centered in our policies and programs. So we have partnered with Plan on a global scale, and in 24 countries around the world this month of April, we celebrate children's rights and we celebrate the protection of children.
Great. And I know there's a particular way you usually do that, and we shall be discussing that in a while. But kindly remember to talk to us. The hashtag is GMKKBC on Twitter. At GMKenyaKBC is the Twitter handle. At Sami1 Njoroge is mine. Tweeters, ask us any questions you may have regarding the topic that we're handling this morning. And of course, forward any question to the panel this morning, and I shall be directing your questions directly to them. I'm crossing over to you, Rehema. And what are some of the issues children are facing in your county?
In my county, mostly in Kwale County, the effects that children are facing mostly is child marriage, early marriage, and then early pregnancy. And then apart from that, children, most of them in our school, in our area, they drop out. There is school dropout because of drugs. Who are not girls and boys. There is drugs. Most of them are drug addicted. And then on this matter of early pregnancy, most of them, after early pregnancy, their parents take the chance of getting them married because of their pregnancy. So those are the challenges.
The challenges.
Yeah.
Crossing to you, Marcy, having heard the voice of Rehema, the question then begs, what are some of the initiatives or what are some of the things we can do as a nation to ensure that we protect our children from some of these challenges?
One of the things that we should do as a nation, and one of the things that we are trying to do as Plan International with our partners, especially the European Union, is to make sure that we increase the chances of girls to remain in school. So when they go to school, we ensure that school is safe enough and interesting enough for them to remain there. We know that there's a lot of abuse that happens in schools. So we want to make sure that when girls and boys get to school, they can be able to remain there without being harassed either by the teachers or by their peers. The other thing is working with the parents, just to realize the need for children to be in school. And I think that is very important. Unfortunately, one of the challenges we have in that area is that there is no forum in Kenya where you get the parents, unless you're getting them in the religious institutions like on Sunday in the or in the mosques. Yeah? You realize that there is no forum where parents come together. So most of the time, we end up using the school as a forum to meet the parents. So we entice them through the school community. When they come for parent days, we are there and we want to talk to them about the need for children to remain in school. The other thing is just telling them about the need for children to remain safe at home. We know that if you look at like for example, the street children, and today is the International Day of the Street Children, most of the children in the streets have homes, but they are not safe. So they run away from the violence at home, either violence between the guardians or violence towards them. So the other thing that we talk about with the parents is skillful parenting. How can you make sure that your child remains with you at home and feels safe? With the government, we are really supporting the government departments that are dealing with children, especially the Department of Children's Services, just making sure that we are sharing the resources that we have with them, making sure that we finance some of the meetings with the parents and with the other stakeholders in child protection. We particularly like working with the area advisory councils, which are a coordinating body for child protection, and the court users committee, because we want to increase the access to justice for children. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Access to justice. Coming to you, Bruno, there is, let me call it an initiative, you will correct me if I'm wrong, that the EU usually undertakes or is undertaking. You're calling it the youth takeover?
Exactly.
Let's talk about the youth takeover, Bruno.
Yes.
What is it all about?
Definitely. It's really one of the initiatives that we decided to take together with Plan to advocate the rights of children. And what we decided to do, and it's really original initiative, it's to give all our social medias of the EU delegation to Kenya to a group of young girls that you've got one of her here today with us. And for 48 hours, they are in charge of our social medias, and they can use them to advocate the rights of children and to send a message to the world and to Kenyan leaders that children must be heard, their rights must be taken seriously, and they have to be non-discriminated, and they have to be part of the way society is evolving, because they are the future of this society, and the youth is our biggest asset, in fact, both for Africa and for the European Union.
Right.
So, since yesterday, they are in charge. They are in charge of our Facebook, of our Twitter, and I've read last night a number of the tweets and the Facebook posts that they've made, and it's really magic what they advocate and what they bring as thought to us and as challenges to us, because kids children can challenge us really
Yes.
in our way of thinking. And I'm really impressed by the work that they do and by the challenges that these children are able to bring to us so that we change the way we program, the way we do our things, and we adapt that to take into account their voices, their concerns, and their hopes for the future.
Great. And I could see as you were making that particular observation, Rehema was smiling. So probably she can tell us whether she's made some contribution online. Have you? Okay, what are some of the issues you've raised there?
Okay, on to my tweets, on the issues which I have written there, is that I would like leaders not to take chance of children during this time of campaign, mostly. And then on to my second point, which I wrote there, I wrote that first of all, I think I heard about the case of schools misery. Yeah, so I would like the government to take focus on this school misery so as no child is left behind. Because as the other children are using laptops, the other children are sitting on stones. So I can see other children are left behind. So I like other children not to be left behind.
Great. Great, that's awesome. Really, really awesome. And I'd like to stay with you, Rehema, before I cross over to Mercy. You know, you're from Kwale?
Yeah.
Kwale County. And recently in the news, we've been reading that there's a drought situation in Kwale and Kilifi. To what extent have the children been affected by this, Rehema? And what's your appeal to leaders and stakeholders today?
Most of the children have been affected. Because just imagine, a child can't get out of home, hungry, going to school. Imagine, nothing will get in their mind. So most of the children have been dropping, their results have been dropping. The death rate in the children has increased because as we know that children are the leaders of tomorrow. So if they die, who will lead us tomorrow? So that's the thing. I would like the government to unite with other organizations and to help the children to provide food and water. And I would like what Plan has done. Plan has really helped in that situation because it has provided with some of the food to, it was 99 schools. So I would like that. And I would like the government and other organizations even to join with the plan to help the children.
Absolutely, and they're listening. They're listening. This is the state broadcaster, so you can be rest assured that they're listening to you this morning. Crossing to you, Mercy. You're working with the European Union as far as this initiative is concerned. Someone may ask the question, why social media as a platform for this?
I think the social media is widely used, especially among the young people. So we were sure that by giving our Twitter and our Facebook, right now we're just doing Twitter and Facebook. Yeah, both for Plan International, they have total control, and for the European Union in Kenya. And I think we knew that by that, a lot of their friends would be listening. A lot of people will be listening, and lately we've seen even the adults, we are catching up. I mean, we are using that for campaign, we're using that to market our goods, we are working online. So I think that is the way to go. We thought would reach more people than writing a newspaper article that not many people will read. Social media would really catch the attention of very many people, the leaders, and especially the young people.
Especially the young people.
Yeah.
And Bruno, do we have specific hashtags that are probably trending right now?
Yes.
Or we're using to pass on the message? Could we share them this morning?
Yes, for sure.
Yes.
I think there's the youth takeover.
Yes,
hashtag.
Youth takeover.
There's the
Leave no child behind.
Leave no child behind. That's really important indeed.
Yes.
And I've got them all in the list, but I'm very bad at reminding them. So I should look at them.
No problem. You can look at it. So
there is also EU for children.
There's hashtag Leave no child behind.
Yes.
There's hashtag Youth takeover.
Yes.
There's hashtag
EU for children.
Child rights. Hashtag
EU for children.
EU for children.
Yeah, number 4. EU for
children.
EU for
children.
For children. Yes. So it's very important that we all note that this morning. The hashtags are for Leave no child behind. EU for children. There's child rights. And the other one is?
Youth takeover.
Youth takeover. So you can join in the discussion. Are we allowed to Or
Yes,
Yes,
definitely.
purely for the children?
No.
We are allowed to do the same, right?
You're allowed, but place yourself in the seat of a child and think like a child, because that's how you should see the world.
Yes.
Okay, as Bruno says, you know, you can get involved in this particular discussion. You can get involved in the action and the conversation that's shaping up online through the platforms that they've just said, Facebook, Twitter. The hashtag is, or the hashtags is Leave No Child Behind, Child Rights, okay, EU for Children, and Youth Takeover. Use any 4 of those hashtags and contribute to the discussion, of course, through the lens of a child. That would be very, very important.
Yes.
That would be very, very key. And what kind of impact do you expect from this, Bruno?
I think the impact can be really big for the EU delegation and for the programs that we implement with our Kenyan partners and with the government. Yesterday we had a working session with the 6 girls and all our heads of section, the ones who are implementing our programs. And they challenged us. They challenged us when we presented all the programs. They came with ideas, they came with suggestions, and especially I take the example that we discussed, the drought, and the impact it has on kids for them to be able to go to school and when the family is in a difficult situation. And you know, the government has had a strong reaction and a very positive reaction to the drought, and the EU is participating to that reaction and to that support to the Kenyan government. And really, in the programs that we are implementing, this dimension of how do you make sure that kids affected by drought still go to school is a dimension that we had not yet taken sufficiently into account, and they brought that forward. Mm-hmm. So really we're going to look at that even more now, so to make sure that we react with this dimension of the children in mind all the time, in all our programs.
In all the programs. Rehema, what is your message to the youth and children of Kenya?
Okay, what I'd like to tell them, first of all, during this month of April, because we are all at home now, we have closed the school, most of the children are at home. This goes to the girls. They should take care of themselves, because their bodies are the temple of God. So they should take care of themselves, because Kenya still needs them, the world still needs them as mothers of tomorrow. And also so that we know that educating a girl is like educating the whole society. So we need them, they should take care of themselves. And also to the boys, mostly this time, there are people who have drugs. They may give them drugs, so they should take care of themselves. They should say no to drugs. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great. Mercy, I'm coming to you, and my next question largely centers on the fact that you said you're mostly to the girl child. But you see, we coexist with our sisters, with our wives, with our mothers, with our aunties, with our grandmothers. What is the role of the boy child in this initiative, if at all they have a role?
They do.
Uh-huh.
And even the men, not just the boys, even the men. Yeah, like you're saying that they have to coexist. Mm-hmm. And we do not want the girl to be victimized because she's too empowered. We need the brothers, and we need the fathers and the uncles and the men in the society. So the role of the boy is to make sure that they are speaking. If you're given an opportunity to school, you ask, what about my sister? I need them to accompany me to school. And for the fathers and the guardians who are male, just to realize that if I have a little money, I can divide that between my daughter and my son, my brother and my sister, so that both of them will get an equal opportunity. And none of them needs to drop out of school before they are 18 or before they feel like I'm done with education, just because of their gender. So it's really a cry that they look at the girls as equal members of the society who should be given equal opportunities. So really they are key players in this.
Great,
yes.
Great. So we all coexist together. We're all key players in this particular initiative. We're bringing this discussion to a close, but not before I give you, Bruno, a chance to tell us what are the EU guidelines on the rights of the child and how relevant are they to Kenya rather.
Well, they're very relevant to Kenya and to all countries in the world. As I said, we implement them inside the EU and it's in all our policies abroad. Basically, the guidelines are based on the universality of human rights and the fact that human rights are global. So all children have got to be protected by these human rights. Non-discrimination is very important. The voice of children should be heard and should be listened to and taken into account. Children should be given the same opportunity as any other human being, and children should be protected until they are 18. So that's a child is not only the baby born and the primary school kid. It's until you're 18 that this protection applies. And it's the role of the state, it's the role of the governments to make sure that the future is bright for them, because they are the future, and they are the future of our humanity.
Great. The future of our humanity. Quite some punchlines that have been coming from this set this morning, and it's only proper and fair that all of us get involved in protecting our children to ensure that today's and tomorrow's generation has to live. Thank you so much, Marcy Shege, the Child Protection Manager, Plan International. Bruno Pozzi, always a pleasure. He is the Acting Head of Delegation EU in Kenya, and Rehema Hamisi. We do wish you all the best in both your present and future endeavors, okay?
Thank you.
And keep tweeting, you know,
Okay.
keep talking to us online. Hype the rest to make sure that your voice is heard and heard well, okay?
Okay.
15 minutes past the hour. We are taking a short break. I will be coming up next with yet another interview. Trust me, you do not want to miss this, because it's all about pillar of hope and being the change. How now? Join us for that discussion.